Hey guys, it's Miss Cáceres. I'm back again. So, as we always do before beginning our classes, or the right way to begin our classes, get your notebooks ready because you have to write your name, the date, English class, or Miss Cáceres English class, grade and section. This is your heading. After that, leave a space for your topic or title for today, which in this case would be Women in Aviation. Our objective for class today is to cite evidence from a text in order to draw a conclusion. Your I can statement is, I can cite evidence to better understand the story. Now remember, if you need more time to take this down in your notebook, you can always pause the video for a few minutes, or you can just rewind so you can get what you need. So as I mentioned before, we are going to be reading about women in aviation. It's a history writing by Patricia and Frederick Macasak. Our essential question remains the same. Like we said last time, what helps people rise up to difficulties? Last time in class, we went over what determines the author's purpose, and we learned about PI, which means to persuade, inform, and entertain, or also express thought and feelings. Today, we are going to be focusing on cite evidence and evaluate details. Now, after reading informational text, you will often be asked to cite evidence to support your own ideas. Before you can do that, you must first evaluate the details. That means you make judgments about the facts, the quotations, the examples, and other details in the text. In order to evaluate details, you ask yourself, how do these details support the author's purpose and main idea or message of the selection? Next, consider your own knowledge about or experience with the topic. Based on your evaluation of the details, cite the evidence that best supports your idea. Let's say if you were asked whether women were pioneers in aviation, you might evaluate details from paragraph 2 of the selection, which is about women who piloted hot air balloons in the early 1800s. Even if you have never piloted a hot air balloon yourself, you may know that it takes great skill and courage. Now you could cite evidence to support the idea that women were pioneers in aviation in the early 1800s. So to make it a little clearer, I have a video that gives you 4 quick steps on how to cite evidence and evaluate the details that go along with that. Remember, if you want to take notes, you can always pause the video to do so. Alright, so like I said, it was a quick video and it gave you 4 easy steps to follow when you need to cite evidence and evaluate details. Now, another thing we're going to be looking at today is the critical vocabulary for this story. And what you guys are going to do is you're actually going to log into the page, the website for our textbook. It's hmh.trinity.org, O-R-G. And then, of course, you have to use your email address from school and the password, which you should already know. Now, once you're in, make sure you go to the story of women in aviation, and you come to the bottom part where you look for the critical vocabulary. So our critical vocabulary for today is inundate, restrictive, exhibition, and precaution. So the idea behind doing this is the fact that you can get to understand what the words mean. So what you're going to do is you're going to write the words in these spaces like this. And when you're done, you're going to check to make sure that they're correct. This is one way that we're going to be using our online process or our online website to better understand what we're reading about. So this would be the moment now that we would go into the reading of the story, which is Women in Aviation. Women in Aviation. So open your textbooks to that page. And you can see we'll start with the background information from the writers, which remember, as I told you, they're co-authors because there's two of them. And give it a second, it takes a while to load. We go through the setting of the purpose. As you read, pay attention to the details that describe what it was like for a woman to become a pilot during the early 1900s. What obstacles did each pilot face? And write down any questions you have while you're reading. So you're going to go along reading, and as you do, you're going to come to your notice and note signs. Determine the author's purpose. Annotate. Highlight groups of words in paragraph 1 that signal details about the topic, Women in Aviation. Once you've done that, you can draw conclusions. Based on these details, what seems to be the author's purpose in writing Women in Aviation? Be very specific, so really think about it before you write it down. Then you'll come to paragraph 2 and 3. And when you get there, you should find quoted words. Notice and note paragraph 3. Highlight the comment that Orville Wright made about Catherine, his sister. Once you've done that, it's time to compare how his attitude is different from the attitude described in paragraph 1. Then we'll come to paragraph 4 and 5. And as you can see, your critical vocabulary is there. Annotate. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then finally, you come to cite evidence and evaluate details, which is the topic we were talking about today. You're going to annotate, which means, again, underline, circle, or highlight the information in paragraphs 8 and 9 that reveal a major change in Coleman's thinking. Evaluate. How effective are these text details in explaining why Bessie Coleman decided to become a pilot? Once you're done with that, we continue with the reading to paragraph 10, where you actually get an image of Bessie, which was one of the first female pilots. Here's another one where you can see her receiving a bouquet from someone. And then you can see in paragraph 11 and 12, you'll come to another part where you have to cite evidence once again and evaluate the details. Annotate in paragraph 11. You highlight the details that describe Coleman's dream at this point in her life. Then in paragraph 12, you're going to underline her plans for making that dream a reality. Once you've done that, you can draw conclusions. Based on this evidence, what can you conclude about Coleman and her dream? What text detail would you cite as being most important to your conclusion? We come to paragraph 13 and 14. Here, we're going to see the topic from the other day, determine the author's purpose. Annotate. Underline the problem that the authors introduce in paragraph 14. Then highlight the way that Coleman tried to solve it. Critique. This means we're going to criticize a little bit what we're looking at. Are these facts effective in supporting the author's purpose? Explain. So you guys will actually have to type here your answer and explain why or why not. And remember, you have to demonstrate evidence behind that. Paragraph 15 and 16, again, another picture. This is Harriet Quimby. Paragraph 17 and 18. And then we come to paragraph 19 and 20. Again, another determine author's purpose. Annotate. Highlight the text that gives the name and description of the person whom the authors quote in paragraph 20. When you're done with that, you're going to connect that information by asking, what purpose does this quotation serve in the paragraph? How does it relate to the overall purpose of the selection? And finally, we come to the last part of the story. So I hope you guys enjoyed reading it. It's a really good story, and since it's based on actual events, it should be really fun to learn about. All right, guys, well, that's it for me. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.